Hello, welcome to my talk show. I'm your host, ThatOneRebels here, back again with another interview on my show, Light Knife Rebel. We have a guest coming out very soon, Makari. She's going to be coming out very shortly. But before I do, just a quick reminder: if you have any questions for Makari and I, please just write in the question or write in the Twitch chat. @MitchPoint questions with an S, and then basically you get a Google form. You put your username, put your question, and then about like 40-50 minutes, something like that, we'll take your question. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the interview tonight. I know I will. And without further ado, let me introduce my guest coming from behind the curtains, Makari. Woo! Hello! Welcome.
It's very late. I hope you're happy.
I mean, it's a late night talk show. I mean, it has to be very late, you know?
Well, say that to my fiance.
I mean,
I have to whisper.
that's okay.
It's very quiet.
It's all right, because I used to whisper for like literally 2 years of my streaming career.
Isn't that how most people start streaming though? They kind of talk to themselves like, I don't, and then they realize how quietly they go, hello everybody, my name is Makari, and then they realize how loud they can be.
I was more like, hey guys, thanks for the follow.
It's like how you learn to project yourself.
Oh, I wasn't shy. It wasn't because of that. It was because my parents would go to bed really early because my parents were just old. You also flew away.
Boom.
Nice. But, so yeah, they were very old. So basically they would go to bed early and they would go to bed at like 8 or like 8:30 p.m. or 9 o'clock. And that's when I would be streaming. So I would go from like talking like this to like suddenly like, yo, thanks for the follow. And I'm also surrounded by like 10 other streamers or 10 other friends, and they're just like, why is this guy whispering? This is cringe. Like, what? How do you have a conversation with this guy just whispering constantly? So I was it was a bad time. It was a bad time as a streamer. Imagine, like, my stream would be like 1 hour long. Like, I basically speed ran an interview and then immediately was like, yeah, I gotta go.
I know exactly how that feels. It's funny you mentioned that. I was looking back at some of my old YouTube videos and I was realizing how quiet I was, and some of my older streams are up there as well. And I realized I used to stream for like 3 hours, and I'd see them, I was like, wow, that was such a long stream. And now I stream for like 9 hours at a time, and I was like, that's very fulfilling.
Oh my, I'm the opposite. I used to stream for like 8 hours a day, and I only stream for like 4. At least in VR anyway. If I become a desktop variety stream, I can stream for like 10 hours. VR is just, it's like mentally draining on my soul, you know? I feel like my brain's being squeezed.
Well, you see, by comparison, I'm a big freshie. I've only really been in VR for like 3 months now, so it's still...
Yeah, you're in that...
It's still taking some time to get used to.
You're in that like honeymoon stage, you know? Like you're happy and stuff, and then eventually you're going to become that degen who like sits in front of the mirror with the full body on. You're going to be like, hey guys, what's going on? My life sucks. Are you a streamer? Crashing.
I haven't been invited to any ERP parties yet, so I don't feel like I'm truly accomplished just yet.
Oh, okay. You mean the epic roleplay. I get it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. Anyway, back on track here. So obviously, you know, I invited you here. You've only been playing VRChat, like you said, for 3 months. So what got you into playing VRChat and getting into VR?
Well, I have always been somebody who appreciates community, and I played a singular game for about 6 or 7 years, and that community went to absolute pot. So I decided, you know, what better way to commit some form of masochism than jump into another community that's probably going to take my soul for another 7 years. So yeah, community, that's kind of the thing, kind of my jam.
Community. I guess so. I guess it makes sense, you know. I was part of, like, before VRChat, I played, like, Gmod for, like, 4 years. You know, it took my soul. and then I was like...
Yeah.
And then I was like, VRChat. And then it took my soul. Now I want to, like, do other things. You know?
Well, up until the time I started actually playing VR, I'd only ever heard and seen of the nonsense people get up to through videos, and well, it hadn't really set itself up to be anything too sensible. But I got in and got kind of blown away by the amount of people that were being nice and friendly and actually wanting to get involved and all that kind of jazz.
Oh, like me.
Exactly.
Wow.
Just one day. It's almost like there are people out there who are actually friends and actually show you that you can actually be nice on Twitch and not a complete degenerate. And
Oh, that's just after hours, you know, after hour degen hours. We're all civilized people around here. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been to prison or anything. I'm saying that for a smirk. Anyway,
it's a story you can tell your kids. It's fine.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Anyway, so you jump ship from Warframe to now to VRChat, and you know you've been here for 3 months. You already have full body. You already, you know, I guess in the process of getting your model into VRChat, right? Like your OC.
Eventually, I've got one on commission, but it's not going to be done till like July or sometime.
Oh.
But that's the kind of how it is at the moment. Like all the all the VTube makers, all the VRChat models, they're friggin' stacked out at the moment because of how popular everything's gotten.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's crazy if you're an artist, as a 3D modeler, texture, just an artist in general. I mean, like everyone's just busy, everyone's just stacked, everyone's just like, yo, I need an artist now.
Absolutely.
I need it now. I need my debut, guys. Come on, I'm debuting in 2 weeks. Or whatever.
That was kind of my problem. I was like, can I get it? Because originally they were going to get it to me like next January sometime. I was like, is there any way I could get it sooner? I'm like, money. Slip some dollar bills under my desk, please.
A bad thing. Instead of money, some people say cloud. Yo, I'll follow for follow.
Cloud? What's Cloud? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII is pretty cool, right?
Oh yeah. My favorite scene from that is when they saved Princess Peach from Ganon. I know the Final Fantasies. Yeah.
Oh yes, the Final Fantasies. Absolutely. Anyway, so let's talk about your OC. Obviously, you're not using it now. This is just a public bad year model that I know of. And so, what's the story of your OC? Like, is there a background? Is like what's the style of it? Why did you choose this? Why do you have many horns? Like what's the whole idea?
Oh god, you're putting me on the spot. I'm tired. So the very original concept of the character came from all the way back in like the early 2000s from Gaia Online. And it was a character that I made yonks and yonks ago, and I kind of lost touch with that character for ages and ages. But the name kind of followed me through. And when I decided to completely rebrand myself about a year ago now, I decided to not only homage the very first OC that I'd ever made from Gaia Online, but to merge it with my current existing character. And that character happened to be a sexy succubus demon thing with many horns and demon appendages and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going to sound as elaborate as some people's OCs, but sometimes keep it simple, stupid.
No, I mean that's the way I think it's fine if you have an elaborate or just a simple idea. I don't judge. My idea is just I like black and red, and I wanted it to be that like Dommy Mommy vibe. Like I don't know.
Exactly.
That's all you need to know. I mean, I didn't need to like write up a whole like essay on it. It's just something that I physically not physically eye candy. I look at it, I'm like, woo, I like that. I want that. So.
That's why I chose this avatar. Couldn't let you be the only redhead on the show.
Oh, okay. All right. So, you recently did like a big debut. Like you had like your 2D model and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, why did you choose to go to 2D rather than, you technically have both, but like, Why is more specifically 2D? Is there a reason for that, or are you just like, hey, why not?
It was kind of just happenstance. I picked up a random person to make me a 3D one beforehand, and it was fine, but it was very stagnant and a bit rigid. But I've kind of just Googled VTube model commissions, and funny enough, that on the 10th page at the top of the listing, the person I ended up commissioning was there, and I just went with them, and they were 2D, and I just like their style. So just random happenstance, really.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I've always been 3D, but at one point I thought about getting at least one 2D just to have it and just be like, hey, because some people I've interviewed prior have are 2D and 3D or have both or one is the other or whatever, and some of them have definitely swayed my opinion over time. And one of the reasons is like if I have a 3D model but everyone else is 2D and I'm collaborating with them, then it looks kind of weird when you're like in Discord and like everyone's two-dimensional and I'm 3D, or like if I'm 2D and everyone else is 3D. So I see that argument and I'm like, hey, I could just have both and then boom, fill any gap.
Yeah, see, eventually I do want both. I would love to have both. It's just a case of money, and as I mentioned earlier, everyone's bloody full. Like, there's so many people I want to commission, but their lists are like a million miles long, or they only take commissions from people who have got clout.
Hey, I know that all. I know all about that too well, Too many stories.
Nothing like fairness.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it's just, yeah, we own this person. I remember that very, very strongly years ago. Certain artists were like, yeah, I only work for this one person because I own them. I'm like, what? What? Wait, what? I'm like, what? Excuse me? This is 2021, man. What's going on here, man? You own people? What?
But in hindsight to that, it does kind of end up being a case where you find like these hidden gems in the rough. Like the person who made mine, she was relatively well known initially, but like her style is absolutely amazing. Like easily rivals some of the people who do these big projects for these clout chasers and whatever else. And I felt very lucky to be able to commission this person when I did, and I guarantee you this person's probably going to end up being super busy for the next couple of years because of all this work they're now getting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that the same way too. When I started commissioning some 3D modelers years ago, like I was just very lucky. But everyone saw mine, they're like, I want that. I need that in my life. I want that specific person and nobody else. And I'm like, oh shit. I guess that person's gonna be busy for the next like 10 years.
Pretty sure that was my first response when I saw your model. Actually, I was like, yes, give me some of that. Yes.
Yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. How did it feel to change the subject a bit here, back to VR? How did it feel to get into VR for the first time? Was it weird? Were you like, whoa, hands, what the?
Disorientating, to say the least. I suffer with horrendous motion sickness at the best of times, and getting used to VR sickness was a whole different story. Many of my first streams ended up with me doubled over on the floor, going, no, just 1 moment, please. I'm just gonna vomit everywhere. Especially when you ask your community, hey guys, take me to some worlds which would be awesome, and then they take you to these like really motion-centric places like the gravity parks or whatever else they are, and you get flung all over the place. You're like, has anybody ever heard of just like easing somebody into this kind of stuff? It would have been great to have known beforehand.
I'm smiling really intently because years ago when I first started playing VRChat, it was kind of like the rite of passage where anybody, because I started in desktop, much like most people, because back then having VR was like super rare, like 3.5 years ago. Like you were like the cool kid. But anyway, it was slow, like over time, like we would like slowly, my friends one by one would get VR, and it was the rite of passage that we would make them go to this amusement park level as within like 10 minutes of getting VR, and then be like, we're going on this roller coaster. We're going on these like things that spin you like this, and yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. Yeah,
I definitely had that sentiment, albeit through probably some different maps. It's been an experience, to say the least. Definitely for most. different reasons, including the community, the friggin' experience of actually being in VR. Because before this, I'd always stuck within my like little niche of a game, and that's that end of the spectrum of games as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and then obviously I do tours for people nowadays, and what I do is I just I don't do the vomit comet stuff. I just let's just chill. Let's go to Studio Ghibli, you know. Let's hang out in some nice worlds and stuff like that. I've definitely changed. Before I was like, let's take you to the most messed up acid trip worlds. Let's go.
You say that you took me to that one emulation world with all the interactive guff all over the place that made my stomach turn.
Oh, you mean Treehouse in the Shade?
With all those two. yeah.
That one, okay, that one's it's not as bad, but there are worse ones. Like I could have taken you way worse. That one's just a trippy world because it's just cool. But yeah, I know a lot of more chill stuff like the Studio Ghibli world's probably a little more advanced worlds I've been to. It's actually really old too. It's like 3 years old. It has the day and night cycle.
Sorry, what baffled me the most when I first started doing things was just how like deep some of these worlds are. Like you would expect less quality from some AAA studios out there. Like some of these horror maps or whatever feel like full-fledged games in themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, that completely blew me away initially.
Have you done any of the Huggies Dungeons worlds yet?
Yes, I have. Oh boy, I keep getting taken to one or two every now and again. I have a horrible disposition with horror games or jump scares. So every bloody second I'm on the floor, just in fetal position, going, no, please let me over, please let me over, please let me over.
It seems like we should do a marathon. You know, we should do Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Halloween, Christmas,
all the time.
The Scare Zone, the WKDS, the Elevator. What else did that guy make? He made like 20 horror maps. We should just do them all, back to back. You know, especially Chapter 3.
To postpone that at all.
Yeah, Chapter 3. That's like a 10-hour map. Woo.
Oh God! I think there's one that people keep telling me to do called the Devouring or something, and that's supposedly an immensely good one.
Yeah, the guy who made the Devouring made this world. Legends. Well, one of the 4. So the Devouring, I would say it's not as scary because it doesn't really have jump scares, which I appreciate. So it's more of just creepy atmosphere and like just puzzle. It kind of reminds me of like Amnesia or something, you know?
I love Amnesia. I hate it because it scares the crap out of me half the time, but I love it. It's one of those love-hate relationships. I hate horror games, but I love them because they're entertaining to watch me crawl on the floor and beg to be let go because there's only so many times I can get jump scared within the space of 5 minutes before I just want to give up on life.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the Devouring is the probably one I would, if I was to take you to, probably that one. That one's not as bad as the others. The other ones are like way more jump scary, like right in your face, like, you know, like JPEG in your face.
Yeah. I've had plenty of those. And then of course, because obviously I'm a streamer, people end up hearing that I'm easily jump scared. So then people start using avatars that are going to easily jump scare you. Literally, the last stream I did, half of it was me getting friggin' bullied by everyone in my community using stupid avatars that friggin' hide themselves and then jump out at you, and you have stupid animations to them.
Yeah,
it's like telling somebody you're ticklish.
Yeah, I get scared a lot of horror maps and stuff like that. There's many times where I'm like closing my eyes because I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. I think the worst I've ever been scared was playing Five Nights at Freddy's VR. That was the worst.
Oh god. I mean, there's still videos of me on my YouTube channel playing the original Five Nights at Freddy's when it first came out, and it doesn't hold up as well as I thought it would. Actually, I went back and played it a little while back, and I'm like, did I find this scary?
What?
You get once you get one of the jump scares, you get used to it.
Oh, God. I never played. I owned all the games, but I never played them, and I never watched anyone play them. I strictly was just too afraid to watch anyone. So I for a stream like a year or so ago, I was like, all right, let's play Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Let's try this out. And I was freaking out because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. and then the power went out. And it's like, and I'm like, oh fuck. And then all I hear is Foxy running like, and just fucking got my ass. That was
Oh, the joys of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Also, my heart rate was like 170. I had a heart rate monitor. I still do, so I use it for horror maps, or at least I try to, or horror games. So, very spooks.
Fun experiences there.
Oh, absolutely.
Fun for everyone else, if not just you.
Do you experience the Phantom Sense?
I've been trying to develop it a little bit. I do get little inklings of phantom sense every now and again, but I don't know if it's phantom sense or whether I just think I'm meant to be feeling something. Like if somebody like draws their hand up my arm or something, I think I'm feeling something, but I don't know. I guess I just haven't been in VR long enough to understand it yet.
Well, I'm in this game for 3.5 years, and I think I have what you have. It's where like, doesn't it feel like a ghost or something? It feels like you feel like a presence is there, but like it's so
Thanks
weak.
for coming over to me.
You know?
Do you
And
like
yet
what
some
you
people
see?
attest to the fact
Ooh,
that it's
ooh.
literally like having somebody actually touching them. And I'm like, I suppose it kind of depends on how much of a logical mind you have. If your brain's working overtime, it's like, well, no, this is a video game. This can't possibly be a real touch. But then if you're kind of looser with things, then it's like, no, this is actually somebody touching me. I guess your mind plays tricks on you, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. 1 second here. Yeah. Honestly, like I don't know. The only time I ever feel like Phantom Sense is like on my head. If that makes sense. When I feel like someone like head patting me, and it's kind of weird. I've noticed that sometimes when I'm just like sitting in desktop mode or even just watching a streamer, and they'll they'll go up to the camera and like do this and like rub it or whatever. I can feel something, but it's like super weak. I'm almost like, what the heck? I'm like, what? What's happening to me?
Well, it's certain sensations as well, like somebody holding up like a really fiery anime sword. Like I do get that sensation that it's hot, and I'm like, yes, like, you know that feeling you get when you're sat by an open fire or something. It's that kind of sensation.
It's nice and cozy.
Cozy.
Oh, absolutely.
So actually, you jumping into your table there was another thing that kind of always threw me for, and it still makes me giggle absolute tits off every time I see it. When people remove their headset and their bodies just contort into these mangled shapes or disappear off into the distance.
Oh, yeah, that's actually technically that's an old thing in VRChat. So this avatar is old, but nowadays avatars, if you go AFK, you can actually have your own custom AFK state. So instead of just like walking off in the distance, becoming a pretzel, you can actually like the default is makes your character like meditate, like floating, or like some people they'll take off their headset and then it'll like delete the body, like pixelate. Or I know one of my friends, every time they go AFK, it's like they use instant transmission from like Dragon Ball Z, where like they'll just teleport, or go like choo, and it'll go like, like they'll just like disappear, and when they reappear, it's like they just teleported it in. It's like really cool what you can do. I don't have any cool stuff like that though, but yeah, you can go really crazy. Sometimes people just have like an AFK state where it's just like a sign pops out of nowhere and just says AFK, or like I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff. I saw someone's AFK state or their character like they'll go AFK and then it plays an animation of their character grabbing a chair out of nowhere and just they sit on it and just like chill. I'm like, what the fuck? Just pull up a chair.
You see, it's that kind of thing that really drew me to VRChat when I first picked up. Was when I first got, I started seeing everyone's awesome animations, their avatars. Instantly, I wanted to be like, okay, I want an avatar like that. I want animations like that. I want to have all these things. How does any of it work? And it completely boggled my mind how I meant to even remotely approach anybody to commission any of this sort of stuff. Because like you get into VRChat and you don't know who, how, what, or why, and everything. It's like Second Life. If anyone's ever, that was more of a thing, you know. Getting into Second Life for the first time was like trying to take out a degree in quantum physics to try and figure out how to friggin' put on clothing and everything.
I thought that game was the opposite. It'd take off the clothes.
Yes, that is true.
Ah, true.
Not that I know by any means, of course.
Oh, of course, that game's banned on Twitch. I wonder why. Anyway. My next question is, so you're an artist. You draw. How did you get into drawing?
Yes. Oh, so that goes back to Gaia Online again. I didn't know what anime was at the time, but I liked the style and I wanted to be creative. And F my life, I wasn't paying attention in class. I used to just sit in class doodling all the time, and Gaia Online kind of helped channel my style to that. And basically, until I was like 18, 19, I was just doodling away, and I kind of enjoyed it enough to make it sort of and I started earning enough of it to make it a part-time thing, so it kind of just something that I did every day and got into a habit of, and through many different ways, paths, and learning processes, I just kind of made it my thing. And it's probably been the longest time, because my art was what kind of led me into being a streamer in the first place, because I had a patron community, well, I have a patron community, and we started doing gaming nights where we'd all play a game together. Some people couldn't play the game, so they said, hey Makari, why don't you stream the game instead so we can at least watch it? And that was actually how my Twitch started.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. You know, it's from Patreon people. Like, hey, I want to see you stream on Twitch rather than just on Discord or whatever.
Well, Discord wasn't really a thing back then. Oh god, I sound like such a boomer now. Discord wasn't a thing. We were using
Skype. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
I use Skype.
Frig, yeah. I mean, the wholesome thing is a lot of those people who were in those first few streams still come by every now and again. It's thanks, guys.
That's good. That means they're devoted. You know, they're like, I was here since the beginning, man. I was here when it was Skype, bro. You're going on Tiny Chat and
that
shit.
Or horny.
Oh, yeah, that's true too. I mean, it is what it is, you know.
Or both.
Or both. I mean, you can be whatever you want to be, right?
Well, I mean, I'm a succubus, so that's a given, really.
That's also. I mean, you fit in, you know, with VRChat. You know, like there's a lot of succubuses, a lot of incubus.
You see, I thought I was being incredibly unique and wholesome when I decided to have a succubus as my avatar, because I made Makari the succubus before I did join VRChat, and then I came into VRChat. And I was like, oh, well, I'm about as original as water now. Great.
Listen. As long as it's you, that's what matters. You know, that's at the end of the day. You know.
Exactly.
I think VRChat has many trends and standards, and a lot of them are just MMD anime girl, and then you slap some ears and a tail on it, and then you know that's your character. You know. It's typically the great e-girl world. It's cat girls versus fox girls. Okay.
And you see, I like to think that I'm multi-purpose, because I originally pandered very heavily to the furry fandom, because that's where a lot of my original clientele came from. So I have some fuzzy characters that I dip into every now and again, and you know, I think I like to believe that I've managed a very nice proportionate ratio of furries to anime lovers and everything else. So you know, it's funny to see the different kind of characters you end up running into because of it all.
Yeah, I've interviewed quite a number of furries. They're very, very welcoming people. You know, they told me in a previous interview that I could be the ambassador between the anime girls and the furry community.
See, what we need now is you have all of these like really sporadic and memey avatars. You don't have a furry avatar yet. We got to make this happen. Somebody needs to get Reb a furry avatar. I don't know. What species would you be though?
I don't know. 10,000 subs, I'll do it.
Do it.
Yeah,
make it happen.
Yeah. Who's got the credit card? Who's got the insane amount of money for that?
Anyone got any prime gamers out there?
Any prime gamers? Yeah, we can start right now. I mean, if it's for a goal and if people really want, then I'll do it. But it's not really my scene. But hey, you know, I don't judge people. You know, I interview almost everybody. You know. But yeah, I think it's interesting that you say, like, you know, you thought like, you know, I was a succubus, you know, that's a cool concept. Then you play VRChat, like, oh wait, everyone's a succubus. In this
Then
game.
you realize everyone is as perverted as you are.
Yeah, that's just the way the world works sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I chose to be
complaining.
That's why I chose to be a human, like rather than just be like some sort of demon or something. Because in my mind, each outfit I have serves a different purpose. So I could have like a demon version. I could have a cat girl form, which I have. I can have whatever I want. Like this is the base, and then I add things to it over time. It's like, oh, in a different universe, I'm a lifeguard. In a different universe, I'm an interviewer. In a different universe, I'm a mechanic. That's the way I treat it.
See, I kind of treat that with my characters as well, because every time when I changed Makari to a succubus, I still had the other fuzzy characters that are still there, and they all share similar traits of either having the name Kari in their name. Like, I made a snow leopard and called it Snow Kari, or an otter and called it Otter Kari. Or then there's also a femboy version of my succubus character, and they all take on different traits and characteristics, but they're kind of like alternative universe versions. And so I think that kind of shows an interesting level of creativity on the person's part to kind of be able to differentiate their main character and whatever they then segue into in their other variations.
Yeah, I
Plus,
agree.
it gives me plenty of opportunity to have different things to draw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's literally what I do. Like, each outfit I have is completely different. I even have, the femboy version, which was a joke character that someone made for me, but I used it once, and I was like, that was funny, So,
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think having, because I feel like some people get stuck in the mentality of like, oh, I have to have one character and it has to be the same every single day. Like, come on. I think you can change it up a bit,
I think it's because people see these hugely successful streamers and they don't realize that they got successful because of one character, and they're stuck with that character because that's what made them successful. So they try to emulate that.
Yeah, I guess
today a bad thing.
I guess it's, monkey see, monkey do, Some people are like, oh, if this person does this thing. I mean, that's what I think, like, the whole trend of, like, 2D streamers is, like, a lot of the HoloLive people are all two-dimensional, so people are like, hey, I should be a 2D streamer as well because they're 2D, so I should do that. But then I think slowly but surely some people are realizing going back to 3D. Why? Because they're like, oh my god, I can use the iPhone and it tracks my face? What the heck?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I was already ahead of the curve.
I didn't realize it was a thing before I started doing this. I'm going to probably have to get a friggin' iPhone at some point.
You can get an old one. You don't have to get the brand new one. I splurged and got a new one. It's tax write-off for me. But, yeah, like, it's not done yet, but probably within the month or so, whatever, it'll be all ready to go, and you'll see it, and you'll be like, holy shit, that's, like, way cooler, so.
No, absolutely. I think each of their styles of VTuber mods have their kind of like appeal to them. Like I see all these like other VTubers coming out at the moment. They're all using their 3D models, and they look fancy and everything. But then you got the 2D models, and I don't know. It's such a weird dichotomy between them. There's benefits and negatives to each one. I feel it's just kind of I'd say it's just personal preference.
Yeah, honestly, it's whatever you want to do. I'm more of a VR person, so I'm more of a 3D. Because that's just what I do. But I'll definitely at least try to get at least one 2D. Just why not? Just to have it and be like, hey, I could be 2D today. If I didn't want to feel like using the iPhone and have all the face tracking and all this like shit on me, I could just be like, hey, let's just do 2D. Boom, done. Oh, I just want to chill today. Let's just do 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're starting to take some of my lingo, absolutely. Mannerisms.
Excuse me. I have plenty of my own lingo. I replace most swear words with stupid things like fudge cakes or sausage, or if I want to swear. Why swear when I can sound ever so stereotypically British and replace it with unnecessary Britishisms?
Oh, I should start doing that with Canadian words. Oh, maple syrup. Timbits. Damn.
Well, there you go. Now you're getting it.
Wow. Nice. Interesting. All right. My next question is, so how did you find out the world of VTubers? Like, what was your initial, like, how did you find out about it? Was it something you found out years ago? Was it something recently? Like, how did you fall into it? Were you just like, whoa, that's cool?
Oh god, you are asking a sleep-deprived and addled brain to try and think of something so minute. I suppose the first time I saw it, ironically enough, I think the first thing I saw of VTubing is that it's like that face filtery thing. I think I can't remember who it was. It was years ago I saw it. There was like an anime face filter, and it was this guy dicking around with that, and then he used a VTube model afterwards because he was like demonstrating different anime apps or whatever else. And I think that was the first time I ever saw a VTube model. I didn't understand it at the time at all, and I was like, because this is back when I was still using webcam and everything, and I was like, that looks stupid. But that's kind of what made me aware that they existed, I suppose.
I was around before like the VTubing thing really took off. I was playing VRChat, and like everybody, you can technically say that everybody like plays VRChat as a streamer is technically a VTuber. So like back then, I was like, yeah, I'm just this anime character or whatever, who cares? And then like people are like, wait, and then I see on Twitter like in the last year like debut. I'm like, I never debuted.
Oh god. See, I feel like I missed out on that because I didn't necessarily debut. Like you see all these people doing their debut things, like doing debut stream 24-hour thing. I just put a video up and I was like, hey, check out my new avatar and everything. But the thing is with VTubing is I didn't initially go into it with the intent of VTubing, because what ended up happening was I was using my webcam for donkey's years, and I ended up having surgery on my scalp, and I ended up having all my hair shaved off, and it made me feel a little bit self-conscious. So I was like, you know what, whilst I'm recovering from the surgery, I'll just use a VTube model. So I went out, commissioned a cheap one, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I used that VTube model for about 3 or 4 months while my hair started growing back in. I mean, I've only been doing VTube, I think, for 6 months, maybe 7 months now. And it was initially just to cover for the fact that I didn't want people to look at my ugly bald head. And after about 3 or 4 months of doing it, I kind of fell in love with it, and it became more of a thing for me to channel my personality and be more of myself, because for the longest time with my streaming, I was kind of being a personality that I thought I should be rather than being myself. And I realized, but when I was using the VTube model, I was being more myself in the VTube state than I was when I was using webcam. And it was this whole weird mental state, and it kind of it gave me an opportunity to not only rebrand, but put my actual personality back into my stream.
That's an interesting thing to say, like that you used it because you're recovering from a surgery. Like I never thought about that before. Like for me, it was just like I used to be a YouTuber and I would do face cam all the time. But what I quickly realized is that when I was like recording myself playing like games 8 years ago, like I don't have any like expression in my face. When I was playing games, I just felt like I was in the zone. So I was like, damn. I was like editing these videos and I was like, holy shit, like there's nothing going on. Like what the fuck? I was like, damn. So when I started playing VRChat and using an avatar to represent myself, I felt like that sort of anxiety just like went away, because I was like, I didn't have to worry about like me making a stupid face or something like that.
And I think that's, well, I can almost say with a certainty that is pretty much what made VTubing and VRChat so popular, is that it is a way for people to kind of channel themselves without necessarily being concerned about their personal appearance. I mean, Christ, I could be naked in real life now, right now. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
What? Naked is a good drink, you know that, right? Orange juice.
Yes. Yes. It's completely innocent, of course.
Of course, yeah.
But the point stands. The point stands. It's definitely been a liberating experience for me to say it as well.
Yeah, there's not too many VTubers who actually show their face, honestly, that I can think about off the top of my head. Most of them.
I honestly don't think I ever. As I said, I don't think I'll get back to using my webcam. No, maybe for a special occasion every now and again I might, but like I think VTubing for me is here to stay, especially seeing as it's kind of helped me meet a lot more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting when conventions, get back up, because then like the choice is like, do I actually go or do I not go? Like,
there's I think it's either this TwitchCon or there's a gaming convention coming up where they've just hired their first VTuber panel. And it's not going to be like a typical panel where the people are. They're going to have the VTuber avatars on screen. So I mean, if that doesn't say how popular VTubing has come, I don't know what.
Wait, what? you go to the panel and then it's just a giant TV. Hello, it's me.
And to some sort of extent, yeah.
Damn. Can I be on that panel? I'm like, yo, what up, gamers?
I mean, it does make you raise the question, like, who started the whole VTubing thing? Because it obviously originates from the whole motion capture kind of dealio, and who was that one bright spark that decided to bring it into streaming? You know?
Oh, there's streaming. Well, the person who originally did it like 10 years ago was Kasumi AI. Kazuni. It was a Japanese, and basically it was like super advanced for its time, because what she was doing was wearing like a full-on mocap suit, like 10,000. Like this isn't just some one individual in some basement. This is like a whole setup. And then now she's like the ambassador, and she's all like part of like Japanese commercials and things like that. But she was like arguably the first, and then there's a few others that followed shortly after. And I think it's all like corporation businessy things, you know. It's kind of like Hololive, where it's like owned by an organization. This isn't some individual like a streamer or a YouTuber. This is like a planned event. So I think that was like the first. And then like I remember seeing that stuff, like that's cool, but I was just like, yeah, I'm never gonna be able to do that. And then here I am, like 10 years later.
Well, it's funny you say that, because like I actually got to try out Minecraft in VR for the first time literally 2 days ago, and I remember it being in there, and I said to myself, you know, if me from about 6 or 7 years ago could have said to myself, would I ever be in Minecraft hitting blocks with my actual hand, I would have laughed at myself. But you know, there it is. Like VR's become so commercially available now, it's crazy.
Yeah, especially during coronavirus. So COVID-19 has
absolutely.
really propelled gamers forward in terms of content creators and stuff like that. But yeah, I even played Minecraft VR in my early days, like a year or so ago. It was quite fun, but very tiring, because I was like sitting there like mining, and I'm like, holy shit! Like after like an hour, I'm just like, god damn, this is tiring. Why can't I just play desktop mode and chill?
Well, I mean, same subject though. Like people have been using VRChat and VR in general to stay healthy over COVID whilst they've been locked down. You know, Beat Saber and all these other VR games that get you active and up and running and stuff.
Oh yeah, I used
even
to play
the social
Beat Saber.
side of it.
Yeah, I've told stories before very quickly of a guy I met randomly at a Void Club. This was like 3 years ago or something. But he talked about how he got full body, and then like he was slightly overweight. And by just getting on VRChat every day and dancing, he literally lost like 40 pounds within like 4 or 5 months. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like, I'm Jack. He's like, I'm Jack now, dude. I just played VRChat and just danced. I was like, what?
It's the only directory, I mean, other than maybe the dancing section, of course, but like the only category I've seen where there's such a wide variety of content type in one single directory. Your dancers, you got your people who sit there talking to the camera the entire time, people who go explore the worlds, people who do the parties or whatever else. It's so diverse. Again, it blew my mind when I first loaded up the directory. Like, okay, so that person's dancing, that person's in a hot tub, that person's half naked, that person's dancing. What is this game? What is this game? What is VRChat?
Yeah, welcome. There's also the role players too. You didn't mention that.
Oh yes, I had no idea that until actually I started doing VRChat in the first place.
Yeah, I'm a role player.
In fact, you mentioned it to me as well, actually, which kind of made me go, oh, VRChat, yes, role play.
Yeah, so I'm a mechanic. I fix things. Smile.
Smile.
Yeah, the roleplay community has blown up definitely in the last, I would say, 2 years. VRChat is definitely in the last year. For certain, Callus Row is like clearly very above, you know, very up there. And there's like comes closest second to be like Ascension Academy, Fractured Thrones, Purple Lotus. And then you have like your like one-offs, you know, or like I even was a part of small. You don't even have to have a big scale. You can just do. I had my friend Lele. She used to do this like maid cafe thing where like you just go to a world where it's a cafe and then like everyone there is just like a maid, and then like you would have random people come in, like literally just like friends, and they would just be patrons, you know, like like that's how simple the roleplay can get. Yeah. And they'd be like, oops, I dropped it. Oh, no. And, you know, they'd be like, oh, I'll clean it up for you, you know. Or, oh, no, I spilled coffee all over you. And then you have to just role play it out, you know.
No, absolutely. I think that's the joy of as VR chats become more and more accessible. I think the idea of role play has kind of picked up a lot of people. I mean, going back to Gaia Online, like that was my first experience of roleplay back in the day, and albeit a bit cringy when I was like 14. But like, I am a Segoi cat girl, yay! It's kind of one of the best things about VR and roleplay in general. You make of it what you will. It's very expressive, like any art form.
Yeah, because like typically most games, you have to like slash me looks at you intently. You don't have to do that anymore. You just do it with your expressions. You do it with your body language. Like you don't have to.
Oh yeah, I used to role play in World of Warcraft as well. Actually, and you wouldn't really look at World of Warcraft and be like, oh, that's a very role play game where people do role play. But there are freaking huge communities in that game. Yes.
Oh yes, the Gold Shire Inn. Oh god. What the hell is that guy's name? Oh god, there's an infamous guy named like Grandpa something. He plays like an old guy, and he goes to the Goldshire Inn. He's like jacked. He's like, "Ooh yeah, Grandpa's here. He give you a good time." I'm like, holy fuck.
Who needs a good time when I'm with Reb on a talk show? I don't need to know old men for that.
Oh, of course. Anyway. We'll start taking questions in a little bit here because we're almost coming up to 1 hour. Because I don't want to have you.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. Like, listen, these things they go fast. It means we're having a fun time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm not as sleep deprived as I thought I was. I thought I'd be asleep going. And you'd have to wake me up with a large cattle prod or something. Go, Makari, wake up! You've fallen asleep, you dozy pillock.
Is there anything that you would like to do in VRChat that they haven't experienced? It doesn't have to be a horror map. It can be anything, like just in general.
Honestly, I don't know if I don't know if I can answer that because I don't think I know of everything that you can do in VRChat.
You can do You can do anything in VRChat. I can tell you right now if it's in the game right now. Probably.
Don't know. Depends on how much of my ego and or what's the word? Yeah, no. This is my brain. This is my sleep deprived brain kicking out. Pride. No. Yeah, that word where the self-preservation comes in. I can't remember the words now. It's fucking. Yeah. No, I don't know. I can't really think honestly. I guess I'm just the kind of person who goes with the flow and sees what's out there. I mean, crying out loud, I played Flappy Bird in VRChat the other day, and that gave me PTSD from me back in school.
Oh yeah, there's Flappy Bird. Yeah, you have to keep pressing the button, and I only got like 2 because it's way too hard. It's not like because it's first person. It's not like yeah.
I mean, I played Doom as well. Got Doom in VRChat.
Yeah, Doom. That was fun too. The only problem is I feel like the AI is a bit stupid because I never would get hit. They just stand there and be like, I'm gonna like if you wait long enough they will shoot, but like they're kind of slow reaction. I would just steamroll them. I
mean, it is a game from literally 20 plus years ago, so.
Oh, maybe I'm just. I guess my boomer reaction self is just too good.
Translating those poor little 2D sprites. They're looking at us going like, "Are you our overlords? Please don't smite us too harshly."
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question I have is, do you have is there anything upcoming that you're looking forward to, in terms of games or anything?
Game-wise, I think the only thing I'm possibly looking forward to is Resident Evil because Dommy, Mummy, and everything.
Oh hell yeah!
No, I'm kind of still in that blissful afterglow of having like broken out into variety and not situating myself on one game at all times. So I guess again I'm just kind of going with the flow of things. If there's a game that piques my interest, I go for it. If not, I just enjoy what I enjoy. I've just kind of made VR my consistent thing for the time being, and if something like Resident Evil 8 comes out or whatever else, as for big things, I mean, I got a big announcement coming on Saturday, and it's a thing.
Okay.
No, I mean, again, just enjoying the afterglow of not being limited to one game anymore, you know?
I will.
So it's that very liberating experience.
I'll feel that liberation very soon.
And I'll be there to help you through it. It's fine, my darling.
Oh, absolutely. I need all the help I can get.
Absolutely.
If we have, just a reminder, if anybody has any questions, please use the command exclamation point questions in the chat. I'll start reading some of them. So, one question we have here. Let me check here. Well, this is starting off with an interesting question about literally religion. Ken Sam says, "Do you believe in God?" I believe in the God of Thick.
Yeah, no, I believe in TWS. I believe in the flying spaghetti monster, and I believe in a thing called love. That's all I need to believe in.
I agree. That was a good response. Gigaratsu says, "Was there any experience you've had that would not have been the same without VR?"
Oh God. I suppose. Oh, experience without VRChat specifically, or just VR?
The question, to restate, it says, I'm quoting, it says, "Was there any experience you have had that would have not been the same without VR?" End quote. That's all the context.
I suppose it's just that sort of expressionism towards people and actually responding to people in a different manner. Because when you're streaming any other game, you have a very literally a two-dimensional approach to actually responding to people. But through VRChat, I actually get to meet the people who have donated, subscribed, or whatever, and actually, albeit virtually, give them an actual hug or interact with them. I've even celebrated a birthday now in VRChat for the first time, and that I haven't actually gone anywhere properly in real life for like 6 months now because of lockdown. So, nothing dramatic, but it's definitely an interesting experience to kind of get that different plane of interaction with people.
For me to answer this question, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think experience is as simple as just hugging someone. Like you can kind of do that in desktop mode, or giving a head pat, or just watching a movie, or doing a horror map. Like everything is just amplified in VR. Like being able to like touch your surroundings, so to speak, or be able to move your hands, be able to gesture. Role play, absolutely, super immersion level. Like building these characters.
I think that might be the thing that might possibly be the one thing that I wish I could do, that I wish I had time to do, that would probably be a very different experience without VRChat, is the roleplay side of things. I have not roleplayed in VRChat yet, and I guess that's the one thing I'd really like to eventually when I've got time and the moons align.
Yeah, because the one I'm a part of is very late night. It's like literally starts around this time, literally.
I possibly stream at the most inappropriate time and also the most inopportune for anybody to be watching. But hey, somebody's got to do it.
That's also true. Yeah. Next question we got here is Dead Guy. Do you have any favorite artists? There's the guy right there.
Okay, no, without any form of irony, Zontan, big inspiration for a lot of the stuff that I've kind of worked towards myself in the past. There's a number of artists there's so many artists I can name. Dark Gem was a furry artist that I met in person when I lived at an artist's house when I was back in university. He was absolutely fantastic, big in the furry community, does amazing painted style artwork, which was a big inspiration for a lot of my anatomy practice later on. Gosh, no, that'd be far too many to kind of mention. I suppose Yoshino, the person who made my VTube model, absolute inspiration, because she's so versatile and multi-talented with everything she's done. She's in university, but she's making these immaculately and elaborately designed models in her spare time and everything, and her art style just develops on a day-by-day basis. Just staggering how quickly she learns.
You said Zontan, you mean the one from Newgrounds?
Yeah, she streams in VR as well. It's kind of
Yeah.
what reminded me she existed.
Yeah, I met her 3 years ago. She comes to my chat every so often. In fact, she helped me design my nurse outfit a little bit.
Nice.
Yes. It was really strange meeting her for the first time 3.5 years ago. It was kind of like, I was like, wait, is that the person from Newgrounds? And then everyone was just like, yes. Yes, Teen Titans, good times.
It's kind of scary how many quote unquote e-celebrities there are that actually jump into VR chat very frequently. Like I suppose Zone Time is probably the best example of it, but there's a number of YouTubers or artists that I followed for years and years and years and years, and I keep seeing them occasionally in the directory, like, oh, I could possibly meet them someday, assuming I'd streamed it or I'm awake at a time that'd be acceptable for them, and everyone doesn't stream at the complete opposite end of the spectrum to me.
Yeah, I felt that like a lot, you know. Rubber Ross, who was a part of Game Grumps, plays VRChat every so often, is in Cowell's Row too. I helped him, you know, get into it. He was interested in it. He enjoys it. I also helped him get his avatar too with his girlfriend. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird because like I'm not like a diehard Game of Grumps friend, but like I would watch him sometimes, and then like he just happened to be. I was like, what the fuck? Like this dude, I used to watch his animations like 10 years ago. Like what? It's just bizarre. And then, you know, here he is, you know, still playing, having fun. So it's definitely an interesting, weird. It's like VRChat's like that melting pot. Like you just get like, the fucking guy who plays Darks, only Afro, who made that really like meme video from like years ago about like The Legend Never Dies, about Giant Dad. If you ever played Dark Souls 1, you know what the meme is. He made that really like MLG pro fucking video. He plays VRChat.
Nice.
I met him. I was like, yo, you're that guy who made that video. He was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, what the fuck? Why are you playing VRChat?
I think VR chat is also something that's quite sobering as well for a lot of people, because when you actually get to meet the people who you've known through their content or whatever, and their celebrities, you suddenly just realize they're just people, you know.
Oh, yeah.
They're just other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I talk to a lot of them off stream, and they're just people. Like they just want to hang out and have fun, and yeah, and yeah, I would show them around VRChat because I was kind of like the tour guide for some of them. And they were like, holy shit, this is so cool, dude. And I'm like, hell yeah, man. And they're like, I'm gonna play every day now. And I'm like, oh shit, I got them addicted, man. Oh no, their chat's gonna hate me.
You don't see them for another 2 months.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like in terms of them playing, yeah, some of them have gotten like really addicted to VRChat, and they just play all the time, and it's a good time, you know. I'm like, damn, I caused that. Smile. I did that. Whoops.
Smile.
Whoops.
Smile.
We have another question here for Cosmic Clone. Where would you be if you never started streaming? College.
In the Royal Air Force.
Really?
Yeah, so before I started streaming and whatnot, I was still doing my artwork, but at the time I was actually in the cadets being ready up to go into boot camp. And literally about a year before that was meant to happen, something happened and I decided not to. And literally about a year after that was my first stream.
Holy
so
shit.
Would I still be? I suppose it depends where I would have ended up. I would probably still be in the Air Force at this point.
You'd be drawing some jets and shit?
I've already drawn some jets, but that's the oh boy. No, I'd have been in the Air Force, and I don't know. It's a weird thing because it's like I like to think that everything happens for a reason, and as much as I would have probably enjoyed being in the Air Force, I think I probably made a better decision kind of going down the avenue that I did, even though it's required more of my effort and focus. It's definitely been a different experience.
What if I told you that there's like a large number of my friends list is literally people who are in the Army or in the Air Force?
That doesn't surprise me.
And
doesn't surprise me. I just don't. I mean, maybe I probably would have still been a content creator in some respect or another. I just doubt I would have been able to have done it as religiously as I have.
Yeah.
Or to the nth degree that I have, at least.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about. Like some of these people are like soldiers or, airmen and stuff like that, Navy, sailors, and then they play VRChat and they're like anime girls. I'm just like, you know what I mean? This very like macho thing, and then like it's just, yo, I'm an anime girl. Let's watch some movies and let's.
Well, it's that escapism. Just because you're in the
True.
army doesn't mean you don't like big anime titties. You know, it's
True.
just the way it is.
That's also true. Yeah.
In fact, I know plenty of people who are in the army who have commissioned me to draw big anime titties in the past.
Hell yeah. And then their buddies are like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Well, there."
Have I got a story for you?
Yeah. This is what you have to fight for when you're out in the battlefield. This is what we come back to.
I mean, it's like back in World War II, that you pull out the photo from a dying soldier. It's like a cute picture of their wife and their son. Nowadays, you're on the battlefield out in Afghanistan or something. You pull out the photo, it's just some anime girl from some anime or something.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That just made me think about that could actually be a thing where, like, think of not just anime. It could be like a VTuber. You pull fucking Kazumi or some shit. They pull your avatar. And they're like, please.
Oh God. Oh, I don't. That's not worth thinking about. Good Lord.
Yeah, it could be reality. They'll be like, this is what I fight, because people, what they'll do is they'll like, back in the old days, I'm pretty sure they still do it, like on like a Jeep or like a Humvee or something. They put like pictures of their like loved ones, but they'll put like an anime girl. They're like, that's what I'm fighting for back at home.
Oh, I mean, at least that wouldn't be as cringeworthy as the people who literally have like massive, ornate pictures of anime girls sprawled down the side of their sports car or something. Like, what was it? A Viper GTS or something, and it was like completely hot pink with an anime girl going up completely the one side. I mean, fair play if that's your thing, but that was probably about $1 million you spent on that.
Yeah, but what if it was your anime girl?
True.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I suppose if you had the money and a really nice sports car, would you put your character up the side of it?
I don't know. I'll get judged. So it's so hard. Like, I would feel like I would get really embarrassed if I went like out somewhere and like they're just like, dude, what the fuck's wrong with this car, dude? What's going on here, man?
I feel like if you're riding around in a Lamborghini or a Viper GTS or whatever, you've already kind of shoved your dick in their face as it is, because you're riding in a massive muscle car, and it's like.
Yeah, that's also true. You're also right on that one. I guess it really depends on the person. Some people are just, they don't care. They're like, I'll do it. Fuck it. But I don't know. I have to think about that long and hard, Anyway, any more questions from the chat, guys? Any more from the Twitch chat or any more from the forum? Any more? Well, we can wrap up. But how long do you want to go for? We can go for another 5-10 minutes, whatever you're comfortable with. It's you who has to go to bed, right?
Yeah, well, it's probably be a wise idea if I get to bed at some point. So I'm getting glares at the moment. So.
Okay. We'll end in a couple minutes then. We'll just take a few more questions. If anybody has any questions, what's up, Yumi? Nice to see you. Oh, do you have any questions for me?
Not that my sleep-out brain can think of.
I'm an open book.
Fair enough. How about what was the first game you ever made content for? Like all the way back in the days.
The first game I made content for, so I actually used to make YouTube videos before I was called ThatOneRebels. It was just, it was Gmod. My first video I ever made was Gmod, way back in the day, and it was I don't think I've ever told this story. Okay, so I recorded myself when I was like, this is like 2007 or something like that. And I used to play on this like dark RP server, so it's a little more serious, where like, it was so serious that you had to pay money to just be able to spawn props. So I couldn't spawn any props because I didn't have any money as a kid. So I had to like gang up with other players. Anyway, so there was a person that was a donator, and they would abuse their ability to spawn props. And what they would do is they spawned a bunch of props and they blocked off the spawn. So when your character died, because you respawn, you'd be stuck in this area. You couldn't leave. And I was like, so basically what I did was like, I'm gonna report this guy. So I boot up Fraps. Didn't even set up Fraps right, so it was like 240p quality. And I recorded this guy just like abusing his power, and then I sent it to the moderators, and the moderators were like, okay, yeah, we'll ban this guy. And that was like my first video, technically. And then shortly after that, I made like a RuneScape video, because I used to play RuneScape a lot, like back as a kid. And I would be part of like those merch guilds where like merching is when you find an item on the Grand Exchange, and then you have like hundreds and hundreds of people buy that item all at the exact same time, and then it causes the price to like skyrocket because it's super rare to get, or like there's less, quantity, so it's like sort of like fucking with the stock market. And I made a video of like being like, join our merch guild, like as an advertisement. That was cringe. And then my first actual real video was back in 2012 on my YouTube channel, ThatOneRebels, but all these videos are privated now. But it was, again, playing Gary's mod, but it wasn't for reporting someone. It was just me playing Trouble in Terror, so I'm being a goofy person.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah, no, look at me now.
The fact this is I should probably private it at some point, but the very first video on my YouTube currently is a video of me getting attacked with a strap-on.
Whoa, what?
Don't ask why.
All right, no more context for that. I don't need another vacation. Ayumi asked why you chose red for your character, like for my character specifically. The reason why I chose the color red and like I guess like the darker theme of like red and black, but more specifically red, was because I don't know, I just like the color red. I always just whenever from my childhood, whenever I like make a character creation or whatever, I would just typically just like the color red. So that's what I did. So when I made my character, I just wanted to make it a redhead. Why not like a darker red? And I was like, 'cause red's cool.
Absolutely.
Red's cool.
Red's cool. It's like me with purple. Purple's my red.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just chose it. And I always think if you really think about it, as like a sort of like a final statement here, but like I feel like when you create your avatar, you create your persona, right? Your OC. It actually reflects what you like and what you enjoy most of the time, right? Unless you want to, like, some people make their character completely opposite of what they are in real life, and they just do that because that's a character. But I do think that a lot of people sort of like, if you look at someone's avatar, it really says who they are, So like, well, why is the hair red? Why is the eyes yellow? Why is it like this more mature looking character? Why is it like more Dami Mommy vibes? Why is it like showing skin? Why doesn't it not? Why does certain personalities, certain clothing types? I guess you could say it really describes who I am and what I like and enjoy. That's more of a
exactly
advanced philosophical talk right there for a second, but.
And I feel like there's always going to be one character that a lot of people have more relation to others that ends up reflecting the person's character far more. Like the Makari character has always been a reflection of either my personality or a lot of what I do. Like the purple hair has always been a consistent thing because it's my favorite color. But the style of the character has kind of gone from the Gaia Online character to a furry character to being segued between dragons and otters, and that's kind of come back to the Succubus thing again, because that's kind of where I am at the moment. But you're entirely right. It is very much a collection of the personal experiences in a lot of cases.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we'll start to wrap up here. Is there anything else you want to say? Any final words? You said you had a big announcement this coming Saturday, right? So that's something you can plug. Anything else like Twitter, YouTube, Twitch? You name it.
No, not really. But if I guess if you want to watch a silly British person trying to entertain people and whatnot, then yeah, come give us a watch. And I'm actually going on holiday for like 3 weeks, which is probably the worst, most inconvenient timing ever. But the big announcement things during a subathon I'm doing on Saturday, and it's going to be kind of like I'd say the official call-in of this new period of time in my content creation.
Mm-hmm.
And my personal endeavors, as it were.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you again. Everybody give a round of applause. Thank you. I'll still be streaming. Thank you. Before you go, we'll take a photo with, us together as a memory, as a memento. What do you call it?
Memento?
Memento. Is that how you say that? Memento?
Memento.
Whatever.
Memento.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Stuttering.
You got it the first time.
I got it. I thought for a moment I got it wrong. I was like, man, imagine running a talk show and having a stuttering problem. Anyway, let's take this photo, and then I'll see you around. I guess. Well, you'll be